could run up the road and you wouldn't know the difference.
I can't stay awake.
Here, revive with Vibrant.
Vibrant?
Helps wake you up.
Government-appointed experts confirm it's safe, effective.
Revive with Vibrant.
Ironically, my worst drug experience ever came from something perfectly legal that nearly everyone takes for granted. I work in a coffee shop, and though I don't usually drink coffee at all, I guess I was so used to being around it that the caffeine had ceased to seem like a drug at all to me. So one weekend, a good friend and I, being all out of pot, which has always been pretty benevolent in all my experiences, were bored and looking for a buzz. We found this in a box of Vibrant caffeine tablets. Two bored teenagers on the weekend, we decided to start small with just a couple pills, hoping it would add an amusing glow to our boredom. Wrong move. It all started when I called him up to see if he wanted to drive into Hollywood and look for something to do. I went to go pick him up after downing 2 of the pills from a 16-pill box of 200mg caffeine tablets. Driving to his place, I felt a sort of optimism about the day ahead, most likely just a placebo effect. When I got to his house, he took 2 as well, and we drove to Hollywood, which is about 10 minutes from his house. I think at this point I also had 2 more, as it had been a good hour since I took mine, and I wasn't feeling anything. He drove around aimlessly for probably about a couple of hours. I think we were looking for somewhere to shop for clothes, but we were just bored and restless. Somewhere in that time, I remember my friend taking a couple more, and an hour later he said he was feeling a pretty strong buzz. I wasn't, so I figured the pills were weak or I had some weird tolerance, so I took 5 of the pills and my friend finished the remaining 3. We eventually ended up at Jet Rag, a store I like to buy clothes at, and while we were walking around there, the buzz hit me really hard. I felt slightly tingly and very amped up, and also slightly agitated, but it was a positive feeling. I started to get a little lightheaded and my thoughts were racing, so I figured I was peaking out with the pretty disappointing buzz. My heart was beating pretty fast and I felt kind of uneasy, so I decided we should get some food to help us absorb it. We got in my car, and as I was pulling into the street, I almost hit someone and felt extremely jittery. My friend asked me if I was okay, and I said I was fine, thinking I was just overly excited. We ended up at Cafe 101, which was nearby. I had to urinate very badly, so we went to the bathroom, and as I was urinating, my legs started tingling as if they were falling asleep, and I began to shake a good deal. Right now, as I am reliving this experience, I am actually feeling kind of uneasy and nervous. This was nothing compared to the night I was about to endure. We went to a table and ordered a couple sodas while we browsed the menu. I confided in my friend that I felt really weird and that it wasn't a good thing and that I needed to eat. Suddenly, as I sat there, I felt vomit surge up, but I was fortunate enough to suppress it and didn't puke all over the table. I ran to the bathroom and hurled yellow, the color of the tablets. I stayed in the bathroom for about 30 minutes hyperventilating, sweating, and feeling very sick and throwing up a couple more times. Finally, I regained some sense of composure and went outside to find my friend with 2 other friends of ours who we had planned on meeting. They said they felt bad for me and I needed to eat. Shortly after I sat down, I had to pay another visit to the bathroom. I could tell things had gone too far, but I figured I was getting rid of the excess caffeine and I would be fine after not too long. I think I was in the bathroom for another 30 minutes. I then told my friends I would go wait in the car. I was feeling a little better and actually started to drift off to sleep when they knocked on my window and suggested we go chill by the pool of some hotel. I asked that we wait, so another 30 minutes transpired, and at that point I felt okay enough to go over to the hotel, which was only 5 minutes away. During the drive, I started to feel like I was going to vomit again and got very shaky and uncomfortable. So I parked and waited in my car for a couple hours while they went to the hotel pool. I rolled back my seat and drank some water, but I threw up out of my car door several times while I was waiting for them. I didn't even care that a lot of people were watching me do it. I had never felt so sick in my life, except maybe when I had a bad flu. I called my friends and told them I had to go, and I also called my girlfriend. She said I could go to her house since her parents weren't home and someone needed to be with me in case anything really bad happened. At this point, I was getting pretty scared. I barely made it to her house, which was 30 minutes from where I was parked, and traffic made it even worse. I had to pull over and vomit very painfully on the side of the street twice on my way there. I finally arrived and apologized to her right when I got there for fucking up and being stupid. I called my parents too, who don't mind that I smoke pot and are pretty open-minded, so I didn't feel that bad telling them. They were at a park and basically said, "You're stupid, but call us if you need to go to the hospital." This was just a month after my 18th birthday. I had to stay at my girlfriend's house in the guest room overnight because I was violently ill and could not drive. Her dad told me that he did the same thing when he was my age and he felt my pain, but he only ate 2 pills. I had 9. I threw up all night long. I sweated bullets and had awful diarrhea. I had to vomit every hour for a while, and then it got to every 20 minutes. I wasn't sure what was going to happen to me, but I had hope that I would be okay by morning. I tried eating toast, water, and juice, and I couldn't hold down any of them. I remember laying with my head on that dirty bathroom tile, sweating uncontrollably, feeling like I was going to die, and being in more excruciating pain than I had ever been in. I was dry heaving almost constantly until 10 in the morning, and I finally had my parents come to get me to take me to the hospital where they pumped charcoal and fluids into my body via an IV in my wrist. I was just so happy to be alive and being taken care of by someone who knew what they were doing. I've never been in so much pain in all my life, and since caffeine is a stimulant, I was painfully aware of every moment from that night. I felt so horrible for doing it because of worrying my girlfriend and my parents so much, and for doing something so dumb. It took me a couple days to fully recover from being up for so long and vomiting so intensely. My abdomen and throat were sore as all hell, and I felt so completely exhausted. By some miraculous stroke, I did not have work the morning I had to go to the emergency room, even though I always do, so I didn't have to call in sick or anything. But I learned a hard fucking lesson and had the worst experience of my life from something people put in their bodies every day. I will never eat caffeine pills again, and I will definitely not be so reckless with putting shit like that in my body anymore. Oh, and the real kicker is, my insurance almost didn't pay for the $1,300 hospital visit. We weren't sure why, but we thought it was because it was self-inflicted. Luckily, they ended up paying, but that in itself was an equally big scare. If you're gonna do drugs, make sure you have good medical insurance, just in case.